Hello everyone. Welcome to Tales of Light. Have you ever felt lost? Not because you lacked talent, but because you kept looking at someone else's life instead of your own. This is the story of a young boy who did the same, until one simple lesson changed everything. A lesson that might change your path too. He spent years watching other people's progress like a scoreboard. Every like, every success, every small victory he measured his own worth by them. What happened the day he stopped looking out and started looking in? His name was Ethan. He was 21. He grew up in a small town, quiet streets, maple trees, the kind of place where everyone knows your name. Ethan wore simple clothes, his soft shirt, worn jeans. He liked plain things. He liked reading. He liked long walks where thoughts could breathe. But there was one habit that stole his calm. He compared, constantly. He compared grades, jobs, photos, laughs, followers, rewards, every morning. His phone lit up with other people's highlights. He drank them like water. He felt full for a little while, then empty. His father Mark was in his mid-40s, a kind man with rough hands and gentle words. He worked in town maintenance. He fixed fences and mended things. He also mended moments with Ethan. When Ethan let him, Ethan did let him, sometimes, not often enough. One Saturday morning, Ethan and his father walked the main street. The coffee shop had a long line. A new shop window said, "Success Stories." People smiled at a new poster. Ethan felt a tug. He asked his father, quietly, "Why does it look like everyone's moving forward but me?" His father paused. He looked at Ethan the way someone looks at a small bird trying to learn flight. Then he said something simple, something that would settle in Ethan's chest like a stone in still water. Mark turned to Ethan and said, "Who told you they measure your worth?" Ethan blinked. He shrugged. Everyone. The feeds, the pictures, the noise. Mark tapped the table. "Those are highlights. Son, they're not the full film. You can't live by snapshots." It felt like advice. It felt like a lesson, but the habit was a storm. It kept coming back. At college, Ethan watched classmates land internships. He saw friends post proud moments. He saw faces at parties and felt like a stranger. He tried to match them. He applied to jobs he didn't want. He chased trends that made his chest tight. He faked smiles at meetups. Nothing fit right. The more he chased, the more lost he felt. One evening, after another failed application, he stormed into his room. He slammed the door. Tears came. Quiet and stubborn, he thought, "Maybe I am not enough. Maybe I am late. Maybe I'm meant to watch, not live." He called his father. Voice small. Mark came over without questions. He sat on the bed. He didn't have a grand speech. He did something else. He opened Ethan's old notebook. Inside were scribbled ideas, drawings, half-written poetry. A plan to learn carpentry months ago that never started. He held the notebook like a map. He said, "You forgot these. Forgetfulness had a shape. It was not just memory. It was the daily surrender of your own small promises." Mark didn't tell Ethan to stop comparing. He asked him one small question. Instead, "What did you want for yourself when you were honest?" Ethan stared at the notebook. He read lines he wrote weeks, months ago, plans that were not other people's plans, small things: learn to fix a chair, start a morning walk, write a story, take a class, be kinder to himself. It hit him like cold water. He had been living other people's calendars. He had traded his tiny true wants for loud trophies that weren't his, so he chose something tiny. The next day he woke before noon. He took an old set of tools from the garage, his father's toolbox. He began to sand a broken stool, one plank at a time, one breath at a time. At first, his hands were clumsy. He made mistakes. The stool looked worse before it looked better. The world did not applaud. No one posted his progress. For the first time in months that felt freeing, he promised himself one honest action every day. Not for likes, not for status, for direction, for a map. Little by little, the map filled. A morning walk, a chapter written, a call to an old friend, a course finished. A small project sold to the neighbor who needed a stool fixed, a quiet message from someone. Thanking him, none of it was loud. But it was his. Ethan's life didn't explode into overnight success. It didn't need to. The direction changed. The small things stacked into a path. He learned a new rule. Direction beats speed. Progress beats comparison. A single honest action builds a map you can follow. When you copy someone else's journey, you end up walking their roads. When you honor your tiny promises, you start building your path. Mark's hand on his shoulder, that simple, steady presence, was more than advice. It was a reminder that someone believed he could take small steps. That belief mattered. It still does. So what's the lesson? Look inward. Ask, what did I honestly want before the noise? Start with one honest thing. Do it. Repeat. The trophies will lose their power. Your direction will grow. Your life will stop being a series of comparisons and become a sequence of your own choices. You will not always be the fastest. You might not even be the loudest. But you will be moving on your map. If you liked Ethan's story, remember this: stop racing someone else's life. Start one honest thing today. If this touched you, please comment what your one honest thing will be. Share with a friend who needs it. And subscribe to Tales of Light for more stories that quietly change us. Which small step will you take tomorrow? Tell me below.